Commissioner Segerson-Eaton's walking in. Give her just a minute. All right, let's call this meeting back to order. Pompano Beach City Commission. Do we need to call the roll again or just signify that all members are present once again? Mr. Berman, I'm not sure about that.
Normally you'd call the roll, but you just put on the record that all members are present, so there's no need.
Very good. Let's move on with our agenda then. I believe it was up to Commissioner Perkins for her commission reports. Commissioner Perkins.
I was going to say I wasn't done. I was just stopping because we were at 11 a.m. I'm kidding. I'm just joking, guys. 11 p.m. I just thought we were done at 11 p.m. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll move on.
All right, Commissioner Perkins.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I would like to know from staff about, and Mayor, you can chime in if you feel you need to. How are we chosen to be on the MPO board or organizational committee? Is that something that we volunteer for, or how does that work? That we have one representative sitting on the dais serving on that board or organization?
The City Commission appoints the member of the City Commission to sit on the MPO Board of Directors.
Okay, so if we appoint, is it their duty to come back from time to time to give us an update on what's going on there, or?
There's all sorts of information on their website and from our Development Services Department with regard to what's going on in MPO.
Okay, because I would think, and I think we have the League of Cities or whatever, I think from time to time there needs to be an update to the commissioners or to this dais as to what's going on, to just give us a little insight of it. I know that we can do research, but I'm sure there's a reason that we have a representative. So if they're representing the dais or the commissioners, then we should periodically get some type of update. Or
Yes, ma'am. We'll see that the commission gets an updated report periodically.
Okay, I agree. I thank you for that. I only had one other thing I just want to mention to everybody again about the Women Walking with a Vision. Again, will take place on Saturday. We will be starting at Mitchell Moore Community Park walking to Apollo Park, where we will end. It's a very great event for Women History Month. Again, it's Saturday, March 28th from 9 to 3. We will end at Apollo Park, where we will have some speakers, inspirational speakers there, and also Easter baskets will be given away at that time as well. So this will take place on March 28th, starting at the Mitchell Moore Center, and we will walk to Apollo Park. So asking everybody to please join us if you can for Women History Month. It's going to be women speaking to the whole body of a woman, but men are invited as well. So I would love to see some of you on the dais join us. Even if you can't walk, if you could, attend at Apollo Park for some of the speakers, which will be an awesome event. And that's it for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you, and good morning, Mayor. So a couple of things. The county is going to be doing some repair work at North Pompano Park to repair some sanitary access points where they'll be repouring some of the surrounding cement, and that will be in the dog run only. So the dog run at North Pompano Park will be closed this Thursday and Friday, for those repairs, but the rest of the park will be open without any issues. And I also wanted to give an update on the streetlight situation. You know, at the beginning of installing those beautiful streetlights, which I worked so hard to do, and I thank the city and staff for all their help. We're having some issues with some of the electrical grid, and it's a large area and somewhat complicated, but thanks to the help of Mr. Harrison and staff, John Strofopoulos, who interfaces with NFP&L regularly, we are taking care of, we are working on resolving all of those issues with individual lights. And it used to be that I'd get calls about, you know, about the lights, that they were complaining. Now it's, oh my gosh, my light is out and it's too dark. And so I'm really thankful for them, and I think also they have definitely helped to reduce crime in our community, for sure. And they have made the neighborhood very safe for walkers and people driving, et cetera. And so, again, we are working on resolving those issues. If you notice a street light out, I urge you to go online and report it, or give me a call and I'll report it for you. So that was my second item. But so now that I got to thinking about some of the issues that were brought up last night, I wanted to add to my report. A few of us were on this dais back when the approval was made for what is now Duet development. And I recall that there was a woman, I believe her name was Sandy Van Staten, who came up during that quasi-judicial proceeding and handed out, said she had 1,300 signatures. And it turned out that every page was blank. Now, that should be in the record. It was quasi-judicial. Do you remember that, Mark? Yes, he remembers. And it was a quasi-judicial proceeding. So I would like verification as to whether those 1,300 signatures are, in fact, validated and notarized, because there is some confusion in my mind that there were no signatures presented that were valid and notarized at that time that this development was approved. I guess that's it. And the other thing is, I just want to wish everyone a very happy Easter. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
By the way,
Commissioner
just to
Smith.
correct the record, the name is wrong. So the name that was
I'm
presented is wrong.
sorry, Commissioner.
Yes, I know.
Thank you.
I'm sure you want to shut it down. That's fine. I'm going to go to the car and go get those signatures. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Go ahead, Commissioner Smith.
Mayor, before she speaks, can I say something?
Morning, everyone.
Oh, no,
Commissioner,
go ahead, Commissioner Smith. It's your report.
Thank you. I was excited last night to hear the summary of the Tiger Trail, that they raised $92,000. I think that's phenomenal. They are so organized and they have such a broad base of volunteers. I just feel that every event that I went to, it just felt like family. And I think it's great that we have an organization like that working the entire month of Black History Month, bringing family and community together. Specific to District 5, Big Daddy Conch Restaurant and Grill at 361 Northwest 27th Avenue had a soft opening this week. I don't know when the official opening will be, but pay attention to the property. I can't wait to go eat the collard greens. I hear they're phenomenal. So Shaman Higgs and his family, when you see cars around, stop in, have a bite to eat, and show them some community love and support for their business. Something about community, I want to talk about the Pomps Community Charitable Grant. It is starting. The grant program is going to the advisory members on April 1st and to community partners on May 1st. So if you're a nonprofit in Pompano Beach, you will want to be watching for May 1st, and I'll make sure that I have it in my newsletter and keep people in District 5 involved. But I wanted to let you know that in 2025, they had 48 applicants, and all of them were funded. The total distribution in '25 was $180,000, and over the last 5 years, they have given in grants $469,000. So I think it's a wonderful program that the Quarters Group has. So nonprofits, watch for May 1st, and let's get some money for you. My positive quote is from John Lennon. Peace is not something you wish for. It's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good, thank you. Vice Mayor?
Mayor, can I say something before?
Yeah, okay, sure, go ahead, make it.
Because if I say it at the end, you're going to cut me off.
Commissioner Perkins?
As I was leaving last night, if staff could look into the street lights that are out on Dixie Highway between 15th and 16th. All of the street lights are out in that area on Dixie Highway. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I have a few items. First, this board put me on the audit committee, and I do think it's incumbent on people who sit on committees to give updates periodically. So I'm going to just give a brief update on what this is and where we're at on that committee. We had our first meeting of the group last week, and we reviewed the RFP, and that will go out next month, and that will be the way we select our city auditors for the next 5-year contract. So it is a great committee of people with a lot of finance expertise from all around the county, from different cities, Pembroke Pines, Tamarack, Coconut Creek, and more. So they met, reviewed the RFP in great detail, had really good feedback, and I will keep people updated as we go in this committee so that there's no surprises when it gets to the commission with the recommendation. Second, I want to talk about the workshop we had on standalone police department and BSO. I feel like we left that workshop with just as much uncertainty and without a plan. And I do think time is of the essence here. We have till end of September to decide to enter a contract or go a different direction. So I'd like this board to take a couple minutes to think about and talk about a plan going forward. The city manager's recommendation was to enter another 1-year contract. And like I said at the workshop, if we're going to do that, I want to make sure that we have a strong negotiating team that's really looking into some of the issues that surfaced in the consulting report, the consultants report that we have. So I believe that we should put together a kind of negotiating committee that starts now, getting questions answered and making sure that we're not duplicating services with the county services that are provided, and works to negotiate the absolute best 1-year contract renewal that we can, knowing that we have the standalone option if we can't come to an agreement. So I would like to ask the city manager to put together a proposal for who sits on this negotiating committee. And city staff should be on it. Maybe there's a representative from one of the groups that did the report. I don't know if it's Paul O'Connell or whoever the city deems appropriate. I also think that at least one commissioner should sit on that committee, and maybe Mr. Waters and Earl and Brian. I would leave it up to the city manager to suggest who the right people are, but I think it should include at least one member of the commission, and if there's someone from the consulting firm that is appropriate. So do I need to make a motion to do this? Or I'll make a motion to ask the city manager to put together a negotiating committee to work towards the best 1-year contract with BSO that we can negotiate.
Second.
Vice Mayor, we really don't have a committee.
Well,
It's been the city attorney and me and various staff members.
Right, and that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for a committee to be put together because I think the history is not negotiating the best deals, and that came up in the consulting report, that there are a lot of opportunities that we might be missing, and I want to make sure that we, in this contract, that we don't miss those opportunities. So I think that we need a group, including someone on this board, and I would be happy to do it, to dig into some of the details of what we're actually paying for and if we're getting what we're paying for.
Question.
Has it been moved and seconded for the committee? Okay, question?
So what type of committee? Are you saying a committee from the community, or each of the commissioners appoint one person, or how do you plan to organize or create the committee?
So I think it's I think it's a lot of city staff, right? I don't think we have community members involved necessarily, because I think that starts getting a little bit harder to manage, because I think it's got to be people willing to really dig into that contract and with some level of like expertise to go through what we're getting versus what we're paying for, and same thing with what we're getting from the county level versus what we're paying for at the city level. So I mean, I think it's probably a lot of the same people that normally do it, so legal counsel from the city, the other appropriate city staff, but I would like to include at least a commissioner and maybe someone from the consulting firm, someone who spent all that money doing the report and really dug into the details and could give us some insight as we negotiate, since they have all that expertise from months of digging in.
Okay, so your motion is saying you want to include one commissioner from the dais to represent.
And
or be
perhaps a
part of-
consult, yeah, a consultant, or if there's anyone else that people deem appropriate.
I'm sorry, that wasn't part of your original motion, so I'll withdraw my second.
I'll second it then.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to create a committee as per the vice mayor's suggestions, to direct the city manager to create a committee as per the vice mayor's suggestions. Further discussion on the motion?
Yep.
Commissioner Fessick.
I think it's a great idea. We heard a lot from people, and I think that ultimately, working together to negotiate a better contract, which, one, BSO has already come to the table. When I met with Sheriff Tony, he had very clearly stated that he was, wanting to make sure that we worked with him to get whatever we needed from the contract. So there is that offer there, and it's on us to tell him what we need. It's on us to negotiate that contract well and effectively. The reason why I think it would be great to have a committee where there is a commissioner present is because then we know that if there are, well, in the perfect world, if let's say, if there is somebody on the committee, then they would come back to us at one of the meetings, perhaps during a report or an update, and be able to give us some sort of feedback based on, hey, here's what we're discussing, what's the feedback from your community about this, or some sort of update, so we could push it to the community and perhaps get feedback from residents that they could apply to that contract. Secondly, when I was going through the contract, somewhere in, I would just to make this point, somewhere in between 2016 and the 2020 contract, we lost our 5% cap. So I think it's good to have more eyes and more brains on negotiating the best contract we can, and I love the idea of having somebody from the consultant group be a part of that as well. Let's see what we can do. Thanks.
Very good. Commissioner Seegerson-Eden?
Well, let's just go back a little bit and remember how we got here, because we had members of the community from time to time saying to us that, oh, we can save so much money if we go with our own independent police force. We can save money, we can save money. That was the mantra. However, as it turns out, we will not be saving money at all. And most of, I would say virtually all, if not all the taxpayers I have talked to have expressed that they don't want their taxes to go up. They don't want to pay more for a standalone police department. They express, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Expressions like that is what I'm hearing. So a consultant is to sit on that board is going to cost money. And for a police department, a standalone police, that's not saving us any money, that's costing us money. I don't see any sense in spending more money on the issue for hiring a consultant to sit on the board. Mr. Harrison, can you just give a brief overview on the way we negotiate contracts? And I'm sure there's unions involved and a number of issues. Could you just give me a brief overview on that?
Are you talking in general or this specific contract? The BSO contract?
Well, in general, I guess with regard to the BSO contract.
Well, we would have all the information from our procurement department handed down to city staff, whatever the respective related department is with that particular project.
Mhm.
And then I would review all of that with them in the final analysis and then authorize a decision to be made. But in this particular case, over the years, it's been every 5 years. Isn't that correct, Mark? Every 5 years?
Yes.
The city attorney and the city manager and related staff that has been working closely with BSO and someone from BSO, I believe it's, is his name Fudge, the attorney?
He's one of them, yeah.
Okay.
Depends who they send. They may send their chief counsel, I don't know.
Anyway, over the course of, let's say, 6 months, all the pros and cons are cussed and discussed and evaluated, and then finally a contract comes before the city commission.
Okay.
But it's all, the point is, it's all done by professional staff.
Yes, and we have some very good professional staff. That's exactly it. It's professional experts. It's attorneys, union attorneys, representatives from BSO, representatives from our city. So I don't really feel the need to set up a committee at all. Thank you.
Very
Mayor?
good. Further, Vice Mayor.
So part of why I think this is important is in the past, the city manager has asserted that BSO is a good negotiating partner and easy to negotiate with. But our consultants' report indicated that we are leaving a lot potentially on the table, that there were opportunities, and one of the paths they recommended was renegotiating, and there were some thoughts in the report about opportunities. And I would like to make sure that we capitalize on those opportunities in this negotiation. So I don't think that we've always, been getting the best deal, and I think we now have more information because we spent the money on that report. So to just throw that aside and continue doing what we've done in the past instead of really leverage all that work we did, I think would be a waste of that report and the time and effort that the consultants did. And I also think the reason I'm saying this now is I do think time is of the essence. Like I said, we need to stay on top of this. So I get the sense there's a lot of items that this commission is just kicking down the road until after November elections because they just think something's going to change. But this is one of the items we can't do that with. This is public safety. It's too important. It has a deadline in September. And I think the more time we have to get ahead of this, the better. So if we don't do something now, what are we going to get an update in 3 months with how the city negotiations are going and what kind of confidence are we going to have in this? And I don't want us to sit here with a 3-3 vote in September because some people don't have confidence in that we got the best deal we could. So I am trying to do this proactively to ensure that we get to a really good place where we are all comfortable before we take action in September, which is before the election that I know everyone's trying to kick the can down the road and wait for. This is not one of those things we can do that with.
Mayor?
Mr. Harrison?
I want to make sure that I didn't say anything that could be misunderstood that indicates that we're going to throw all of this information to the side.
Right.
We will not be doing that. We will be using the information in the Raftillis report as we venture into the contract negotiation.
Mr. Harrison, do you have an issue with a commissioner
Thank you.
and a consultant
Vice Mayor,
being involved?
Vice Mayor, thank you.
Well, I had the floor.
No, you don't
And
have,
he's-
you were finished. Mr.
then he
Harrison
he
spoke.
started-
I'm sorry, I was about to speak. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll come back to you. Don't worry, there's plenty of time.
God, could you just, did you get up on the wrong side of the bed?
No, I got
Be
up
a
on the
little
right
more polite
side of the
today.
bed.
Let's try for a little bit more polite.
Very good, thank you, Vice. So, I was going to make that exact point, Mr. Harrison, that, of course, you're going to digest the report that we got from our consultant and investigate all of that. And I'm quite satisfied that we have professional staff that can negotiate this contract. That's whose job it is to run the city, is the city manager with staff. So I'm quite happy with just asking Mr. Harrison to go ahead and do that. And I actually was going to bring that up in commission reports if somebody else hadn't, to go ahead and make the motion to move forward with negotiating a contract with BSO, because the Vice Mayor is absolutely correct. We do have a critical public safety issue that we are facing because the current contract with BSO will be expiring. So we need to get busy negotiating with the sheriff to do that. Thank you. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Smith?
As I was reading through the report, and probably all of us did the same thing, I made notes of the suggestions for a renegotiated contract. I would love to share the notes with you and your staff, and anybody else that also took notes. I have 1.5 pages of notes of suggestions from Rev. Tellis in the report. So I agree. Let's let staff do what you do and share our ideas with you, but not necessarily sit on the committee with you. Thank you, Mayor.
Further commission discussion?
Mayor.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Fasick?
well, thank you. So I just want to address something. This motion is not about creating a standalone police department as was construed before. This is about negotiating the contract and making sure we get the best deal with the best services for the good of our public safety and the good of the residents that live here, and for the best price possible as well. Rev. Tellis did have a lot of information that I think is very, very valuable. One thing we have these shade meetings that we go into often. So maybe if there's saving money from a consultant standpoint, I mean, obviously this contract negotiation is going to be within a very set period of time. So it's not like we're going to have a consultant that is on an annual contract or whatever. It could be, for an afternoon or 2 meetings or 3 meetings. It might not be a committee that meets regularly over months to get to September. But, one of the things that it might be worth doing is having the consultant on one of the phone calls, and then maybe not being part of the committee, but maybe we should, because I think at some point we all have residents who have concerns and who they have something that's really, really important to them as part of being, each district. But overall, you'll see a lot of those things overlap as we did at the workshop. And maybe part of it would be having one of those shade meetings like we have for other contract negotiations, where we can all bring some ideas to the table and to negotiate the contract further. So just want to throw that out there as being a possibility. That way we all have insight. We all feel like we have contributed. And then at that point, once everything is known, make sure that we do have somebody from the commission on the negotiating team. So whether it be a separate committee, or whether it just be the fact that we have somebody from this board sitting on the team representing the will of the board, then that would be great. Just another opportunity to offer that thought. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Berman, just a point of information. Can we hold a shade meeting about contract negotiations with Broward Sheriff's Office?
No, these are not union negotiations.
Thank you. Further commission discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Commissioner Perkins.
Just to clarify, so, well, City Manager, we're asking for the contract to be extended from September of this year to next September of next year? Is that what we're doing? Okay, and there's no way the staff can come up with some ideas of funding for the next 6 months? You need more time. Is that the reason for extending it?
Well, the reason for extending it is so that we won't be left in the lurch without a formal agreement with BSO for public safety.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, the reason we're extending it for 1 year is because we don't have enough time to find funding to stand alone.
Correct.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
That's one big looming reason, but
Yes, okay,
not the only reason.
thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So, Mr. Harrison, you are telling me that we are great at negotiating contracts then, and yet we hire a consultant and they say, hey, you actually haven't really been doing great. So this is the disconnect that I'm trying to bridge now to prevent an issue when we need to approve this in September. So if no one else up here is concerned about us getting to a 3-3 because there's a lack of confidence that we negotiated the best deal possible, then you're right. This is a waste of time. But I really believe that we need to have a process that we can all trust, and that's a tough ask around here at times. Trusting the process that goes on and yes, staff obviously will take the lead in negotiating with the sheriff, but I think a committee that they have to report back to, that gives feedback, oversight, asks questions, meeting maybe once a month as we go through it to see how things are progressing would be really productive and help us get to the best contract we can and to a place where this board can actually approve it and trust that there was oversight and feedback in the process. Thank you.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Further commission discussion? On the motion, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
No.
Commissioner Smith,
No.
Vice Mayor Fournier,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
No. Vice Mayor, still have the floor.
Thank you. I wanted to follow up on one of the items that Commissioner Fezzik talked about yesterday, and that is the contract with Lotus Mindset. I have some concerns about breaches into this contract, and I've asked the questions of the city manager and gotten relatively terse responses about freedom of speech. But Mr. Berman, one of the items in the scope of the contract says produce short films, live streams, and social media content to promote transparency and engagement. Would you believe that a podcast on social media on talking about community engagement relative to a downtown done by two of the principals of Lotus Mindset would qualify as part of the contract? Produce short films, live streams, social media content to promote transparency and engagement. Would a podcast that is streamed live on social media and talks about transparency and engagement be part of the contract from your perspective?
Well, it really doesn't call for a legal opinion. I'd have to look at the contract, see what the content requirement of what they're supposed to produce is for. The podcast may be a separate, totally different type of communication that she does privately on her own and not be part of the contract.
Okay.
So, or it may be, I don't know. I'll have
Okay,
to.
well, I'd like your opinion on that. And if they are doing a separate private podcast on their own about the city, even though they have a contract with the city, is that a conflict of interest?
No, it's not
Okay.
a conflict of interest because they wouldn't be personally benefiting financially from that.
What,
not a
in
conflict
what
of
way are they not personally benefiting financially? Producing social
What would
media
that be-
content?
What would that be in conflict with, the duties under the
So,
contract?
I want to talk about an example here. So the contract itself has two clauses that I'm concerned with, the conflict of interest and the contractor cooperation. And I've brought these up in the context of other contracts. And I know these are hard to enforce, but they're important to me. In the contract, it says, the contractor shall refrain from acting adverse to the city's interests in promoting the goals and objectives of this contract. And it also says, the contractor shall be responsible to maintain a cooperative and good faith attitude in all relations with city and shall actively foster a public image of mutual benefit to both parties. Do we have the video, Kervin, that I sent you? No? Did you get that? Okay, so there's a video I wanted to play, but I had a feeling that it wouldn't be approved. So I'll just read the transcript of it, and then I want to know if you think this is fostering a public image of mutual benefit to both parties. It is the two principals of Lotus Mindset, and one of them says, see, I'm having a hard time calling them commissioner or vice mayor because there's something of respect and esteem, but when you start playing hood rat games, that's how I got to deal with you. Like, I got to deal with you like that's where you want to go. One thing you're not going to do, because I don't think you're going nowhere, Allison, and I don't think you're going nowhere. I don't think Audrey's going nowhere, and I ain't going anywhere either. You're going to have to deal with me, baby. Whether I have this contract or not, you're going to have to deal with me, so get it through your head. So do you think that fosters a public image of mutual benefit to both parties, accusing us of hood rat games and threatening us?
I think that's a question of policy versus a question of law, and it's for the commission to decide. If it violates the policy and they wish to, as a whole, to instruct the manager to terminate the contract, they can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to, I guess, determine that this contractor is in breach of the contractor cooperation clause of the contract and to terminate them.
I mean, the contractor has a First Amendment right to express herself as well.
And that's what
If
we
you
always
feel-
hear,
if
but
the
when the
commission
contract
feels
is to produce films, live streams, and social media content, and that's what they're using their content, that's the content they're creating in the name of being a city contractor and working on engagement and transparency, I don't believe that it's fostering a public image that's mutually beneficial to all parties. I've never been accused of or threatened like that, so I don't think that a contractor should be doing that.
Second.
Been moved and second, excuse me, I'm sorry, been moved and seconded to what?
Determine that they're in breach of their the contract and terminate them.
I'm not sure if we can, I'm not sure if we, the board, can determine they're in breach, but, I mean, we could certainly direct the city manager to terminate the contract. I mean,
Who can determine if they're in breach of the contractor cooperation? Because Mr. Berman just said it's not him.
I'll determine if they're in breach.
Are they in breach?
The contract, and I'll need to see the material.
Okay, so do you believe they're in breach based on what I read
I see
and
the contract, and I see the material, just as I just said it, Vice Mayor, respectfully, I'll make a determination.
Okay, my frustration is I asked this in email a month and a half ago and never got a response on that, so
You asked the city manager.
we were on it.
I'm on every email you send. I don't have those materials. I don't have it. I haven't seen it. I'm happy to look at whatever you'd like me to look at and render a legal opinion as to whether there's a breach of the contract for that reason. The manager can get me the materials, or you can get me the materials.
Okay, I will do that.
So, I mean, you want to modify your motion just to?
Well, I'll withdraw it and wait for that report,
That's fine.
unless,
Okay, I mean, well, it's your, you got.
I mean, I'd like a determination based on the contract and the content, and I'd like that in writing from Mr. Berman.
Basically, the opinion would state whether that would be sustainable or not, a
Okay.
finding, so.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I will still make the motion that I believe that they are not serving our city and not fostering a public image of mutual benefit, and I would like to make the motion to terminate the contract.
Or direct the city manager.
Direct the city manager to terminate the contract.
Okay,
Second.
okay, moved and second to direct the city manager to terminate the contract. Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. I touched on it last night, but I was trying to speed through because it was so late. Vice Mayor, I tried for such a long time to just allow somebody the flexibility to exercise their First Amendment right, but when it comes down to making money, there are extreme instances where in the same podcast, the same independent podcast, there is a sponsorships slide being shown saying sponsor this podcast supported by, and then there's advertisements for Lotus Mindset tied to the city. There's another recent video that I shared already early this morning on social media where I was called, just from memory, I was called a sugar baby, and my professionalism was questioned about my marriage and how I ended up on a house on the beach and how I was able to buy a condo, questioning my professional background as well as my personal background. That's just one, very short, I think it's like a minute and a half blip. So that one video you played, I'd really like to see us be able to compile something before we have the city manager actually issue a determination that might not be worth anything because it might not actually be complete enough. So if you give us a date and time where you would like all of the documentation in order to support so that Mr. Berman can review it if necessary, to see how and why this may tie in or may breach the contract, and not just on that one piece, but potentially in others, then that would be something I would like to know. I'd like to have a time frame so which we can gather and submit the information that we would like you to consider. Secondly, just want to make sure that we also say that in the same contract under number 18, audit and inspection records, we have the ability as authorized representatives of the city to inspect and audit all data and records of the contractor, if any, relating to the performance under the contract until the expiration of 3 years after the final payment under this contract. So just as a reminder, there's that too. So if we need to get anything, we have that right as per this contract.
I'm sorry, Mayor, just a reminder, the contract likely has a termination notice provision.
It actually has termination.
Yeah, Mr. Berman.
Termination for convenience, 10 days. So,
Okay.
anyway, look, my point is that we've had a problem with this particular vendor, and there's problems with other vendors too. Like, I don't want to single one person out because I've said that before, but this was brought up yesterday by me, and this has been a continuing issue. This has been brought up several times by Commissioner Perkins, I believe. It's been brought up by Vice Mayor before, for well over a year now at this point. So now we have had an issue, and even after bringing this up, there was the decision made to not just give her another contract, but nearly double the contract value. And I think if you didn't see the video from last night, or you need to go back and watch it, or you need to go back and consider some of the things that were said, there are a lot of questions related to the way that this vendor is behaving and technically behaving on the behalf of the city. In fact, one of the co-hosts was in here last night, and when there was the kerfuffle that you heard in the crowd, it was because one of the co-hosts, while Mr. King was sitting in the beginning of the meeting, was sitting in the audience by himself, came and started to verbally assault him in the middle of the meeting, causing more kerfuffle. And so that is not how a city contractor or somebody who represents the best interests of the city behaves. And the fact that she had to be escorted out of the building last night, I think even that is a pretty key indicator. We are not dealing with professionalism here. So I would encourage Mr. Berman and Mr. Harrison, get us a date that is a reasonable date for us to compile any information that maybe any of us may have. And I'm sure some of it will be glowing. I'm sure since the mayor sat on the podcast with lots to say about all of us as well, you can go ahead and Ms. Briesmeister also, another contractor of ours, sat on the podcast. And Suzette Sybil sat on the podcast. And yeah, I said Rex. And Lamar Fisher sat on the podcast, all talking about the same thing. You're going to tell me that's not tied to this city in some way, shape, or form? That's not representing this city when we have elected officials doing so? She's coming out with a new voters list, by the way, telling you, she said, can't tell you who not to, I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you who not to vote for. Kind of the same thing. I mentioned it to you in our meeting February 11th, Mr. Harrison, so this is not new news. It's been over a year of conversation. This is something we need to take seriously because this affects every single contract from here on out. And again, I'm pinning it on not them, I pin it on you because you're the one who's managing this or actually mismanaging this entirely. You are making us look bad as a city. You are making us look like a joke to other cities, and I am really, really sick of it. Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Mr. Harrison.
I'm not the one making you guys look like a joke. You're doing it to yourself.
All right. Excuse me. Further commission discussion. Vice Mayor.
Mr. Harrison, I have layers of concerns about this contract also. There is the part that I pointed out, but I've mentioned before and asked, what was the competitive process you used? How many proposals did you look at before you picked this one?
I don't recall back when this first started, how many there were.
And did you vet the contractor before you decided to hire them to do financial literacy? Did you vet their financial literacy or consider that as a criteria when you were making a decision?
We had folks that worked with their financial literacy expert.
Right, but the principal, who is the voice for the organization. I have heard from a lot of taxpayers on this one who are really in absolute shock that any taxpayer dollars are going to this kind of engagement. They're embarrassed, actually.
As we have repeatedly said to you all, the taxpayer dollars are not going to her private podcast. That's where all of this is getting jumbled up, and that's where the accusation from Commissioner Fessick is coming from. And as we explained to her, and I believe all of you have gotten the same explanation, this podcast was going on long before we engaged Lotus Mindset for the CRA.
Okay, when did the podcast start?
I don't know the dates
Well, maybe you should
off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure it did not. And part of her contract is to produce short films, live streams, social media content to promote
But
transparency.
that's separate.
Then I would think that would be in breach of the
absolutely
conflict of
separate.
interest. How do you say that's separate when it's city officials and elected officials are sitting on her podcast? So how is Ms. Sybil sitting on that, helping them produce live stream social media content to promote engagement, and you're saying, no, that's not part of it?
As far as I know,
It's
in
literally-
Pompano Beach has as much freedom of speech as anywhere else in the United States of America.
100%, but you've hired her to do a certain job, and she's doing
But
that
you are
job.
mixing it in.
No, I'm not.
Yes. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You most certainly are.
No, I'm not. You're just unwilling to admit reality because you've got a hired hitman that you like. But the taxpayers don't. The taxpayers really are in shock that their money is going to this and their roads don't get paved. So I get messages all the time that the content produced is inappropriate, and we will follow through, obviously, with Mr. Berman here on legal opinions about whether, because it's either under the scope of the contract where it's listed, and if it's not, then I believe it's a conflict of interest to have a podcast on the same exact thing. So it's one or the other, I think, but I'm not a lawyer. So
I just want to correct something. Yes. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, you're finished? Okay.
done with my hood rat games.
I just
Fessick?
I just want to correct something because Mr. Harrison, you said that I'm making an accusation, and I said very clearly that I have concerns that I expect management to correct. It's not an accusation. It is concerns that I expect management to handle because that's your job. And I don't appreciate being told that we are making us look bad. I am absolutely, since day one, have been fighting against everybody else coming at me only because I won an election. I am not going to sit here and don't even bother at this point. I'm done too. You know what? I have had taxpayers come at me. I get taxpayers, I haven't even watched the stuff half the time. I have taxpayers send me clips of things every now and then saying, you need to, or picking up the phone, calling me, say, you need to go watch this because there's some nasty things being said about you, about the vice mayor. It is inappropriate. When you have what the vice mayor just stated, it is either a conflict of interest, and maybe it is something that at some point when you have the contract, it's a clear conflict of interest, there's clear crossover, and like I mentioned last night, there is a muddled line. It is a blurred line at best. That's at best. At some point, we do cross over the line into potentially using taxpayer dollars to try to influence either an election or a decision. And that's where we cross the line from your oversight to the state's oversight, which I would welcome. Come on, baby. I'll show you everything I got, and let's have that conversation.
Let's do it.
Very good.
Bring them in.
Further commission discussion. I've got Commissioner Segerson-Eaton, followed by Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you. So I am not going to vote to terminate a contract based on the opinion of any of these, you and vice mayor, I'm just not going to do it. It's a legal matter that should be handled legally. And I'm not just going to do it based on opinion, because that's what it is. It's your opinion. And I just can't support something like that. And I think when you talk about free speech, I see a lot of posts done by both you, Commissioner Fessick, and Vice Mayor Fournier, disparaging the city, disparaging staff, making unfounded and unsubstantiated accusations and innuendos. But you have that right. You have that free speech. But you are tearing the city down when you do that. So how is that different than anyone else, whether it's a podcast, just because you happen to be the target and don't like what you hear? But again, I'm not going to vote on a legal matter with no supportive evidence that has been brought out. It's a legal thing and not based on opinion. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with you, Commissioner Eden. It definitely is it's definitely a legal matter. However, I would, Vice Mayor and Commissioner Fessick, I would take a different approach. I don't think that the city attorney is going to come back with much of anything. I don't care what you give him. You can tell by the people that have been interviewed on that podcast. You know how it's going to come back. So I would like to suggest to you two ladies, because we don't have a city attorney represent us, we got to go outside. So what I have done is I've gone outside to hire an attorney to represent me. And I know that's not something you want to do, but that's the only way you're going to get something done. So the city attorney is supposed to work for us, but he's working for who he wants to work for. So I would love to keep my money in my pocket and just say, let our city attorney handle it, but we know that's one-sided. You know, he's looking out for certain people, and I've got to look out for myself. I haven't been in politics 43 years to sit up and be scandalized, talked about, belittled, and all those things that are being said. You know, I know who I am, I know what I do, and it's got to be really miserable to get up every morning to think, how am I going to bash this person? How am I going to belittle this person? How do you live like that? You know, and sometimes I'm thinking that maybe perhaps they're getting paid to talk about me, and I think I'm worth being talked about, good or bad. But just some things takes integrity. And integrity is when you do the right thing when nobody's looking. But they're doing all kind of things because they're trying to get people to look. I've never watched the podcast. I get little bits and pieces of it on social media. I'm not interested in watching it, but I do have all of the clips that are talking about me that I have submitted to my attorney, which is very expensive. But Vice Mayor, you're not going to get any results from our city attorney. I can just tell you that now. So you could send all the clips you have to him, and they will find legally a way to get around it.
I'm aware. I don't actually watch it. I just hear.
Thank you.
I just have to say, Mr. Berman, sorry for some of the comments that have been made here today. I mean, you and I have butted heads before, and I don't always get my way. I've found throughout time that you represent the city, not individual city commissioners. No matter what they want to do, you ensure that the city is well represented. Thank you for that. Further commission discussion?
Yep, one last thing.
Okay, sure. Commissioner,
Sure, thank you.
Commissioner Fessick, I'm sorry. It's going to be questions only for you.
Fantastic. This is a great question. So I brought up last night that I had concerns also with Serica's brother signing the contract. Were you aware that he has significant issues within the city, Mr. Harrison, that he was arrested for, and that he was accused of, and actually I believe convicted of sexual, hold on, let me just make sure I'm correct on this because I don't, and living at the house and Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm correct in my statement so that I do not misspeak. He has a felony. Let's just put this, so he has a felony, and he is required to be on a registered list. So whatever, I'm going to dig through all that for right now. And then
You're asking me if I was aware?
Yes, sir.
Not until all of this came up. But I don't believe he signed anything with regard to the purchase of that property. I
No.
believe it was Serica's sister who
Correct.
co-borrowed with her.
Correct.
On
And
the
I'm not,
house.
that's not my comment, but what he did do is, was a witness to the contract.
Well, I don't know.
That's fine. All right, I'm just curious what level of,
Question?
yes, I said I am curious. I'm leading into my question. Thank you. And I will finish my thought as I frame it as a question. I'm just curious, what level of involvement people in this city, either management or commissioners or mayor, vice mayor, I'm just going to look at anybody in the city, or our consultants have had in working to support and encourage this particular vendor despite all red flags being raised by city commissioners.
Are you asking a specific question, Commissioner?
Yes, I am.
Of who?
I'm asking at what point are enough red flags raised, Mr. Harrison, that you start to pay attention?
I've been paying attention.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's go ahead and open it up to the public. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? On the motion to terminate the contract, or the motion to direct the city manager to terminate the contract?
Delvin King, 2601 Northwest 12th Street. I've seen a couple of clips from the show. I've been talked about on the show. And the show is real deceiving. You would believe that this show is city-sponsored, and it's deceiving the community, because I've seen the mayor on there, I've seen Suzette on there, I've seen RMA, just top people. So the show seems like this show is about pushing the downtown project. And when the city staff and city commissioners, the mayor, the figurehead of the city, as you would always say, the figurehead is on there. That gives it the stamp that the city supports this podcast and everything that they say on there. So if you don't support it and it's just her ideas, why would you go on there? Why would you bamboozle and tell this community and make it seem as if what she has on that show going, what's going on that show is something that the city of Pompano supports? So you either telling us now that you support the show, we're going to keep it going, or we're not going to support it. But what we need to do now is, it's so much division, we need to terminate the contract immediately. Immediately. She has no respect for herself, for the community that she lives in, and she has no respect for a few of the commissioners that sit up here. The only person she has respect and loyalty for is RMA, Kim Breedmeister. That's the only person she will respect in this community. Because I don't see why she has so much to say, but I never seen her hit this podium and say nothing since she got the contract. She'll walk around and give ugly faces and take a couple of pictures, but she will not hit this podium and say nothing. What is she paid not to say nothing? Is that what it is? She will not come up here and say not a word. Who told her not to talk? Is she paid not to talk? What we need to know is, what I want to know, since we're going to talk about the contract, where exactly is the dollars going? How much is going to financial literacy? How much is going towards payroll? Why can't we get a breakdown on how much she's spending on each and every line item? Again, why did it double? It's not double the work. But we know what the real problem is. We know what she's really paid to do. Terminate the contract immediately. It needs to be terminated today. Today. Thank you.
Thank you. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Further commission discussion. Let's call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Fezzik?
That's the motion.
Yes.
Or direct the city manager to terminate the contract.
Yep.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Eaton? Sigerson Eaton, sorry.
No.
Commissioner Smith?
No.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
No. Commissioner, Vice Mayor, you still have the floor.
Thank you. I want to talk about Kester Park Fun Day, which is April 11th. I think this is the fourth annual event there. And this one is it's called Strikeout Head and Neck Cancer. Brad, who is well-known in Parks and Rec, has been battling this, and this year we're turning the event into an awareness of head and neck cancer. I believe there might be some screenings there. Holy Cross is also going to be in attendance, and we normally have competitive kickball games and competitions between BSO and fire rescue for different food items, whether it's burgers or chili. So this year, I think we will have all those fun activities, but also do it to raise awareness for an important cause. So April 11th at Kester Park, it is a free event, all ages. I know I'm always out there playing wiffle ball with the kids. There's bounce houses. It's a lot of fun. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I hope to see all of you out there and all the kids in the community out there having fun, enjoying themselves. And with that, I'm just going to say Happy Easter also. And my quote is brief. It's, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. I just got the one item, and that is BSO. I know that we do have a contract expiration staring us down. So as Mr. Harrison had suggested in his memo, his email memo to us, I would like to go ahead and get him. Well, I'll make a motion that we direct Mr. Harrison to begin the process of negotiation with Broward Sheriff's Office for another one-year contract to make sure we have police services in place for when our current contract ends. So that would be a motion.
Second.
Discussion, commission discussion. Commissioner Vice Mayor?
I think we need to do that also. I brought this up, but I'm unwilling to do that without some kind of oversight or involvement of this body and a committee that's kind of involved in this. So I think doing the same thing over that we've been doing for years has gotten us to this point where we don't have a real good deal on the table, and I think we need to do something different this time. Thank you.
Mr. Harrison, a quick question. Do you accept input on the BSO negotiations while you're going through negotiations from the commission?
Sure.
Okay, so so there would be input. Anybody who wants to give input can be part of the process by talking with you about what's going on.
Yes, sir.
This doesn't happen in an ivory tower out there where everybody's kept in the dark. Of course, it'd be preferable if anyone who does have conversations with you about that does not divulge the negotiations as they're going forward. But that's of course up to each individual because it's not part of a shade meeting. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Vice Mayor, and then we'll go to Commissioner Fessick.
I believe it needs to be something more formal. We all have different relationships with the city manager, and I understand you have an open line of communication, and you trust that whatever you say is going to be done and followed through on, and that you they won't renege on the things they say to you, but that's not the relationship that I have and others have. So I think a formal process that we can all believe in will get us to the best deal for the residents of the city. Let's keep in mind what we're doing here. We're trying to negotiate the best deal for the people of the city. And I think if we go through a more formal process with oversight and a board to help us negotiate this or help oversee the negotiation, we will get to a place where we can actually have something that we can approve in September versus ending up at a stalemate. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. Yes, to sort of reiterate that, I feel like, number one, public safety is important. It is very important that we take the items that came from our Aftelis report and the consultant and apply them to the contract. However, based on past performance, I do not have the full faith in city manager or the city manager directing anybody to get the best deal possible for us, simply because that hasn't been done, as per our consultant. So I think oversight is important. I think public safety is important. I think getting it right for the residents is important, to make sure we're getting what we want and for the right price, making sure that we call in all of those pieces of the pie that the consultant pointed out where we are missing the boat. So oversight is definitely needed. I would have to agree. If we don't do it the right way, with oversight, with input, and likely, based on past performance, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result. So that is my concern. It is very important we get it right for the residents. Public safety comes first. I think we deserve a more formal process than just putting it in the hands of our city manager, who has clearly ignored several conversations or several concerns of several commissioners on this board for well over a year. Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yes, I have to disagree with the premise that we have not had a good contract with BSO, or that there was something lacking with our service. Now, you could pick apart anything and find something that doesn't suit you, or your opinion, again, is that we don't have a good contract and that a good contract wasn't negotiated. This contract with BSO was negotiated originally back in 1999, 2000. There have been years that we've had less than a 5% increase. But to frame it as if the contract was bad and it's the city manager's fault and his staff's fault that we had a bad contract, I think is really, really beyond the pale. Yeah, you laugh if you'd like, but you've only been here a year. How do you know? I've never even heard your name before you wanted to run. So you can laugh all you want, Commissioner Fessick.
That's great.
Well, you can laugh all you want.
Let's try and stay focused on.
Okay, let's stay focused, but it's distracting when we have Commissioner Fessick laughing. So I disagree with the premise completely that we have had a bad contract. And we are taking something, and Vice Mayor has just threatened that if she doesn't sit on that committee and the contract is not to her liking, that she will not vote for it, or that there will be a
Of course I won't vote for something
excuse
not
me.
to my liking.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton, that's not exactly accurate. That's, I mean,
Oh, she said it, it's a bullying
She didn't.
tactic. All right, well, you know,
Mr. Berman,
let's go forward and let negotiations happen with BSO, because we really don't have a choice. We need public safety, and it's a very serious topic, not one to be used as a tool so that Vice Mayor can sit on a committee and control the process.
Commissioner, please, let's stay focused.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
That was not the Vice Mayor said.
That's the way I interpret it. And again, the premise is the way it's framed as if we had a bad contract is both untrue and disrespectful. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Berman.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. First of all, I don't think legally that it's appropriate to have a elected official who will eventually approve the contract serve on the negotiating committee for the contract. That could be an issue, and I think it is an issue. However, what's clear is members of the commission have indicated that if someone were to work with the manager, myself, whoever else from the outside, whether it's Paul O'Connell, whether it's someone that we can bring in, we can always bring in someone who, when we bring this, to ensure that this commission, when it reviews as a whole, has the confidence that they're getting a good contract. There's nothing to prevent us from bringing anyone in to assist us in the consultation while we negotiate this contract. I would certainly welcome that, and I think that's certainly a possibility. We've heard the request, And I think between Mr. Harrison and myself and whoever else is going to be on this committee, we can bring in somebody that will instill confidence when we bring you the contract for review. So I think we can proceed, move forward to negotiate the contract and hopefully widen the scope of the eyes that are on this.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Appreciate it.
I'd like to-
Further commission discussion?
yes.
Commissioner Fessick?
I'd like to correct something. So I was sort of chuckling because I was very confused as to how what was said was so completely twisted upside on its head. And so, yes, I was taken aback a little bit because at a previous portion of this conversation today, we discussed how the consultants that we paid did a good job and they identified areas where we can improve our contract. And it was agreed, and it was stated that that was the case. So it was not about creating a standalone. It was not about lording anything over anybody. It was about trying to get the best deal for the residents, trying to make sure that we are covering all of our goals for the community with public safety, getting the best deal possible, and just saying that previous oversight, which, by the way, whether I've been here forever long, I will tell you that I have gone back and read through the differences in the previous contracts because I was wanting to make sure I was aware of what was happening when it came up to us again. So if anybody would like to question my ability to go through some documentation, I would welcome you to try me. But I have read it, and I think even the report from Raftelis is correct. We do have room for improvement, and that's normal. Things change. We're human. That life changes. There's always room for improvement at every given moment. You learn something new, you can apply it. It's whether we choose to apply it or choose not to. So I think we need oversight, of course, and public safety is important. So I wasn't laughing at public safety. I was laughing at the fact that it seems that anytime we look at any sort of oversight based on past performance, we're shot down by some people who want to continue to control the narrative. And I don't think that's fair. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Smith?
It looks like we're headed to another 3-3 tie.
Let's hope not.
So if the motion was changed to include the consultant that's chosen by the negotiating committee, to add a consultant to it, not a commissioner, but a consultant that worked on the report, could we get support from the commission? Because as it sits right now, there's a motion on the table that says negotiate the contract. If we're in a tie, we can't negotiate the contract, and we have a problem. So if I withdraw my second, Mayor, would you add a consultant to the committee for the city manager and the attorney to work with? And would the rest of the group be willing to go ahead so we can move off of dead center here?
Honestly, I'm quite confident that the city manager, working with all the other staff, will take care of these issues on his own.
Okay. And then, so I ask now, because I know it's going to 3-3, if we vote 3-3 and it's tied, so what happens with the negotiations with the contract to renew with BSO?
Well, I was actually going to ask Mr. Harrison to draft a memo to the entire commission, explain what's going on with that, if without negotiation to renew the contract, if this fails.
Okay. Well, I'll keep my second there then and hope that we can move forward. Thank you.
Further commission discussion.
Question.
Commissioner Fessick.
Wasn't it publicized in the newspaper, and didn't we receive something that says that he was going to go ahead and sign a contract anyway and already do something without any of our approval? Like, did I miss something? I thought there was some sort of, that was his recommendation. I mean, I see it more frequently in the news, and then we got an email before our workshop saying that he was going to move forward with negotiations anyway. So is any of this actually necessary, or is it just, what is going on? Thank you. That's a question. What is it?
Mr. Harrison, did you send out an email?
There was one email that just simply said that I would advocate for us to go into negotiations with BSO for an additional 1 year.
Right, that was in your original email to the
Right.
commission. Yeah, I'm not sure what email, Commissioner Fessick, I'm not sure what email you're referring to. And as far as news reports, that's news reports, which that's simply news. Vice Mayor?
So like I said, am not comfortable just washing our hands of this and saying, go negotiate a good deal like we have in the past, because I don't think we negotiate great deals around here for the people. I envision something that's more organized and has some kind of oversight and updates like our budget process. So we have a pre-meeting where we can even all get together and discuss from what we want to make sure they look into. Then we let the team go do their work, and then they report back. I think this needs to be an iterative process with us involved. And if I'm not tied to exactly how that looks, it can look like our budget process. Maybe we have to run a parallel process this year to get us comfortable on public safety for the next 8 months. But we just saying, go do what you've been doing, we trust you, is not going to work for me. So maybe we should ask the city manager to put together a memo with a timeline with some key dates and how we're going to, maybe there is a workshop or maybe there is a discussion item here, once a month or every other month on one of our meetings where we talk about, our feedback and get some kind of update, obviously not putting the negotiation at risk, but we need, I think, more than just the email from the city manager saying, let me go negotiate a deal. We need to be involved in this at some level and to have communication of what's going on. So if it looks more like I said, a parallel process like our budget where we have occasional updates, I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with washing our hands of it and saying, bring us back something in September, because I guarantee we'll get it one meeting right before it needs to be signed without updates along the way and without our feedback really being included, because we are not the same up here. We do not get the same treatment.
Very well. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Any further discussion? Commissioner Seegerson and Eaton?
Yeah, I just want to say that what happens if we don't have a contract with BSO and we go on? How do we provide public service, public safety, police services? What does the city do going forward? And this is, can you answer that, Mr. Harrison? I mean,
Let's stay focused on this first. It's like, because that's a hypothetical at this point.
well, okay, but no, it's the ramifications that we really, this is part of our duty to go into negotiations. And we can be updated. We can be updated at any time. I remember last budget, last year, BSO asked for a larger increase than what they received. That was toned down. We need to go forward with negotiations. That's all we're talking about. We're not talking about a contract yet, and the details of those negotiations, which we can, I don't see how. I mean, perhaps another member of staff, one of our assistant city managers, can communicate with you, Vice Mayor, if you don't think that you're getting, but certainly you are entitled to the information. So if you're not getting it, maybe it's just not what you want to hear. I don't know. But this is a very serious, very, very serious issue that we have before us. And we need to go forward with negotiations. Because I don't really think that the people want to spend $100 million a year for a stand-up, which is, $30 million more than what we're paying now, or approximately. I don't really believe that our taxpayers want to pay for that. So this is what it's about. It's about the residents. It's about the tax-paying residents and public safety. And I wish we could just move forward on this issue. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm going to ask you to ask questions.
No, I'm going to say what I have to say, and that's what we're going to do. I feel very strongly that we need oversight, and
Go ahead.
I feel very strongly we need oversight, and I would agree with the Vice Mayor that I also have the same questions that I would like to have us as a body. And if it is a workshop, I'm trying to find a way to work together here. And perhaps maybe that's what the focus needs to come back. It's not about standalone again. It's not about anything else. It's about negotiations so we get to the right contract that we can have confidence moving forward for the best interest of the residents. And if what it takes to get from point A to point B, based on previous interactions and based on our consultant's opinion, is a little bit more oversight from this board to do what's right for the residents. It's called compromise. We've all heard the term, but very few of us apply it, unfortunately. I know I've compromised, I know Vice Mayor's compromised, and it's very rare that certain three compromise on anything. This is for the residents. It's not about a win up here. It's not about making one of us look bad. It's not about personal opinion. It is about doing the right thing. And yes, getting into contract negotiations is important. Having the oversight is important because we have to justify our answers and what we do as a board to the residents we serve. So this isn't about personal opinion. This is about, yes, let's get something moving, but I don't have full faith in the way that it has been managed before, so I would like to add a layer of oversight. And if we can do that, then I'll be all for it. So if Mayor, if you would like to amend your motion in any way to allow for those workshops to happen, then I will be more than happy to support it. Thank you.
Very good. Any further discussion?
So can you,
Commissioner Perkins?
yes, can you reiterate your motion?
To direct the city manager to begin negotiations with the Broward Sheriff's Office to come back with another year's contract.
Okay, so the letter that was given to all of us, an email. Did it state that that was the city manager's suggestion that it was suggested? And what you want to do now is vote that we move to allow the city manager to move forward with the negotiation.
Just the negotiation. The contract has to come back for us, of course, for ratification. But yes.
Okay, so the BSO contract ends in September of this year, and we want to extend it. And the only question I have is what I've been asking before is, how much is BSO asking, the amount, how much are they asking to extend the contract after September? Nobody knows.
Part of the negotiation.
That would be part of the negotiations. We haven't gotten there yet.
We'd find out.
They've never given an amount of, as September, we don't have anything.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay.
That would be something that we would be reporting back to you all as we progress through the negotiations.
So if you are negotiating with staff, can you come back every commissioner meeting and give us an update exactly what's going on?
But
Just an update, just so we'll have some feel of what you're doing behind the scenes, what the discussion
I don't know
was.
about every single commission meeting. It would depend on what would have happened between meetings, but as things progress, we could certainly provide the commission with an update of where we are in the negotiations.
All right, thank you.
But just to follow up on that, just a quick question, Mr. Harrison. Of course, an update on how things are going, but I mean, getting down into the nitty-gritty, I mean, that's a negotiation. You can't, it's kind of like any negotiation. I mean, you don't want to put too much information out there during the negotiation process because it's give and take. Would that be accurate?
Yes, sir, there would be certain, especially financial information as we progress that would not be a good idea to have
In written
out in
form?
the public before everybody was, at least had a handshake.
Okay, got you. Thank you. Just wanted to understand that. All right, further commission discussion?
Yeah, it just goes back to trust, I guess, so. All right, thank you.
Good. Thank you for that commitment, Mr. Harrison. Very good. Then if nothing further, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Pheasant,
No.
Commissioner Perkins,
No.
Commissioner Sigerson, Eaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
No.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. All right, Mr. Harrison, if I could ask you to prepare a memo to the commission explaining what happens if we do not negotiate a new contract with the Broward Sheriff's Office, and what will happen.
Could he actually prepare something productive, like a proposal for how to move forward? Because, I mean,
Mr. Harrison, if you could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Get your hands spanked.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. This meeting is adjourned.